Hello, and welcome to an episode of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, this might not be an episode in a traditional sense, like, I don't really intend to play right now. However, this is just going to be a small guide to some of the characters, well, the ones that I know, specifically. Starting with the killers, which are the most unique of the individuals in this game, we start with Leatherface. He has a chainsaw, which is incredibly useful. He's considered one of the slowest members of the family. However, he has an ability. With his chainsaw, if you rev it up to a certain degree, it allows you to go into a full-blown sprint, which is really effective at chasing down survivors. Now, there's one downside with this. If you are not good at using it and timing, then the ability isn't that great. However, if it hits, it's almost a guaranteed kill or two-shot. Because, here's the thing, normally, doing the rev attack will stun your chainsaw. It'll turn it off for a short time, and you'll have to redo it. However, if you get it pretty high up there, and you do the swing, you will have the opportunity to not do that. If you get Leatherface's savagery up a good little bit, you can hit the initial rev shot, which is a heavy hit that does 2 chainsaw swings of damage. And yes, I've calculated this. At least for my current Leatherface. His base revved up swing does 2 damage blocks. And then if you have it at the end, it does not stall out your chainsaw, which means you can swing another time. Normally for me, if I manage to hit a revved up swing, and if you hit them with a revved up swing, it will stun them. So he's really good with teamwork as well. Like if you're chasing someone near an exit, you can hit them with that, knock them down, and let the rest of the family take care of them. That is if they are there. If not, try and get it up to a high percentage, which is like right on the edge, which is really dangerous to play around, but if you do it, you have extra swings left, which is very useful to have, especially if you want to continue chasing. But anyway, your hit will stun them, do a lot of damage, and if you do it right, it will allow you to have extra timing, more swings, which if you stun them, they normally take 1 or 2 more hits before they die, so easy enough. If you 3-hit a survivor from my guy, my Leatherface, if you hit them 3 times with a base attack, they die. 1 rev, 1 light swing, all it takes to kill them most of the time. If I kept leveling up savagery, maybe I could get it to a 1-shot with a rev swing. I don't know. Anyway, on to the cook. I don't actually know what he does. Something for victims. It looks like as long as you're close enough to the survivors, you get to see them through the walls. I don't know. I've never played him. Hitchhiker is actually a really interesting guy. I haven't played him, but one of my friends do main him. He is incredibly useful. He can lay traps around the map, which, if someone falls into a trap, it will either highlight them or make a sound notification, which easy enough to see them then. And he can, I believe, go through like small gaps or something. I don't remember. He can do some extra thing other than just placing his traps. Then there's Johnny, my second character I play whenever I'm not playing Leatherface. Johnny, really easy. All you really gotta do is boost his savagery and his endurance, and he is a great killer. I consider him the easiest killer to learn, just because his main ability is just following people. Like, if you use his ability, which only lasts for a short time, so kind of be safe with that, you can find the player's feet prints, and there you can track them down given you have enough time and they're close enough to actually find, and they haven't gone through a well or something. Generally, it's really easy to follow the footprints and find them. And plus, he's a really good killer. My Johnny, I think it takes around 6 swings to kill them, which normally, if I start the chase in a good place, I can do that easily. But without that, I have this, a really great perk. If I hit a survivor, it will highlight them for a few seconds for the entire family. So if I get into a chase, the family's gonna know where they are. So if I run out of stamina and can't keep up, the rest of the team's got my back. It's very nice. That's why I see he's an amazing killer. Does great damage, he's got some pretty good endurance, he does good blood harvesting, and he's a really good team player. Now, Sissy, she's got really good endurance and really good blood gathering. She's a really good scout, because, unlike some of the other characters, she can actually go through small holes like the survivors can. Like, the survivors have small holes and gaps in walls that they can crawl through. Sissy can also do that. Most of the other people can only close them. Sissy can go through them, and I forgot to mention this earlier, but Bubba here, Leatherface, he can fully destroy them. He can also destroy individual pallet things that block off key areas that Sissy cannot go through. So Bubba's really good for clearing open the map and making chases a little easier. Sissy's main ability, however, is poison. She can make a giant poison cloud blocking off an area that I believe does damage to survivors and will highlight said survivor for a certain amount of time when they're through it. And I believe if they're poisoned, they take steady damage after they run, so it makes their deterioration go up as well, I think. Not sure, I don't play Sissy that much, but she's pretty good. And if you find some items like key objectives and medicines and stuff, you can poison them as well. So if a survivor uses them, they will get poisoned and probably highlighted. I don't know. Nancy. I have no idea what she does. I really don't. I've only seen one person play as Nancy, and they did not play well. Hans is great. To my knowledge, he has the highest strength rating in the game, meaning if you try to go into a head-to-head with him, chances are you're going to lose. He does great damage, as you see there. Like, that's great flat damage. He's probably just a little lower than Bubba at the start. Okay. Yeah, probably just a tad lower than Bubba. But his main abilities are... I'm not actually sure what his main abilities are. I know 2 abilities of his. One of his abilities is being able to just grab an item, like a key objective. Like, say someone puts the fuse in the box. Hans can walk up, grab it, turn it off, rendering some escapes completely useless if he can get into the point at time, which is really useful. One time, I was playing Leatherface, and I was about to lose a killer, because they just opened up they were about to open up the water door, and the Hands found the water valve, yanked it out, into their escape, and I was able to down and kill the survivor. Anyway, his other main ability is he can electrify items and doors, which, how it works, I don't know. It seems really useful. Kind of can be a double-edged sword if it blocks off a family member, but, I mean, a lot of things can harm other family members, like Bubba breaking down some holes and stuff can block Sissy's movement, and, yeah. Then, Bones, I don't know what he does either. I only know what the main family does, and Hans, because everybody loves Hans. He's a great character. Anyway, on to the survivors. Here's the survivor I primarily main. I got a skin for her because, you know, why not? Anyway, survivors have one main goal, and roughly their skills are pretty well made. But here's the primary rundown for things. Let me look enough so I can get a good look. Toughness, that's basically your health. The higher your toughness, the higher the health you have, the more swings it will take to fully down you. Typically, most people are around the same thing. However, Anna and Maria are considerably high. It takes a little more to actually kill them than most people. Same thing with Wyatt, Virginia, and seems to be also Danny. Yeah. Anna, Maria, and Wyatt have the highest health by the looks of it, with Sunny having the lowest, meaning it would probably take me maybe a full chainsaw rev or 2 swings as well to kill him. I don't know. Haven't tried it with Sunny, because most people don't play Sunny. The primary thing is, I see most people playing the female characters and Leland, because Leland's ability is broken. Well, it's not broken, it's just really good, especially if it's a one-on-one. Anyway, endurance, that's your stamina, how far you can run. Second up is strength. If you get a knife, you will have an opportunity to stab someone in the back. However, if you mess up and stab them in the front, it initiates a power struggle, which makes it to where you have to do a button mashing, and the higher your strength is, the lower you have to tap, where the lower you have means the more you have to tap to win. That's why hands is so difficult. Going against, I believe, Hans, Bubba, and Johnny are really hard button mashing, but Sissy and Hitchhiker are considerably easy. Then you have proficiency. This is your speed when interacting with objects, locks, opening up toolboxes. Really, if you interact with something, proficiency will make you faster at it, which is really useful. Stealth is basically most interactable items have a sound bar, or if you want to be fast, you can just hit the sound bar, boom. But most of the time, using up the sound bar is gonna get you caught. So the stealth bar makes the amount of sound buildup you need to make a sound a lot higher. So it makes it less likely for you to make a sound, and it's generally good. But if you just boost your proficiency, you don't really have to worry about that, because with my proficiency as high as it is for Maria, I really just have to make it halfway once, and then another halfway, and I do it without ever making the sound. That's the primary stats, but there are three main items and 2 key items. First item, tool, a lockpick, essentially. You start in the basement, you look around and find toolboxes. If you find a toolbox, you interact with it, which will use your proficiency in stealth. And once you complete it, which you can just speed through, make sound if you want, and get one. I don't recommend making sound, but you do you. I knew someone once that used up all the sound. They were the first ones out without any problem. They were good. Anyway, once you get that toolbox open, you get a lockpick. You can use it on doors that are locked, any door that's locked actually, and that's all it's used for. Secondly, same interaction thing with the soundbar. You can find pile of bones in the basement and around the house, or area that the hunters are looking for you. You can dig around, pull yourself out a little bone knife, which you can use to either stab a killer in the back or in the face to start a struggle. Now, do keep in mind, this is a good way to save someone if you can do it, or if you're confident in a face-to-face, or if you are sure you can get the backstab. However, if someone is dying, you cannot save them like this. I have tried. It normally just ends up with you getting murdered. Okay, Anyway, after those two, then you find medicine bottles, which if you find, you can just heal yourself. Really easy, really nice, very nice, but chances are you're not going to be able to use a medicine bottle unless it's just damage due to deterioration of health, which, as a survivor, the longer the game goes on, the more your health will just decrease. And the faster it will too. So, the longer the game goes on, the harder it gets for you. Then there are the two random items, which spawn anywhere on the outside of the map, which is not the basement. So anywhere outside the basement, you can find either a valve.
Shut up, Colby.
I'm just gonna mute for a minute. I'm closing up a video.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll talk to you after I finish. You can mute me too if you want, though. Anyway, sorry, that was one of my friends joining. Anyway, what was that? Yes, valve. You can find the valve normally attached to the side of a house. You can pull it off, and you can find a large barrel-looking thing, typically on the outskirts of the map. Plug it in, and within, I think, 30 seconds to a minute, the valve door will open for a limited amount of time, so whenever you plug it in, you want to be there. The second thing is the fuse, which is somewhere around the map, typically on a wall or something. If you find it, you can find a fuse box, which has a singular set spawn point. Well, most items have a typical select spawn point, which the only one I know is the main house. It's in the top floor. You do a little mini game for it, and once you finish it, it will open up a door in the basement. This is one of the harder exits to get, but it's pretty easy to get once you figure out what you need to do for it. The other escapes there are typically the front and back escape, which are just unlock a door. Normally, unlock a door. I think one of the maps, you just have to turn off a generator, and it's done. And both of them, however, have a generator. Typically, if it has a door, it's locked or generator powered. But for the ones that have a lock and a generator, the generator is a electric grid that will block off the exit. And yeah, turn off that, unlock the door. Probably unlock the door first. You're good to go. And now each of these survivors have their own unique ability. I only know two of them. Technically three, I guess, but I don't know which one the third belongs to. Maria has the ability to sweet talk Grandpa, which instead of highlighting the survivors whenever Grandpa screams, it will highlight the family, which if you feed Grandpa as the family, whenever you kill or hurt survivors, you get blood, feed it to Grandpa, it makes him yell. And his yelling will highlight survivors if they're moving. Anyway, Maria's ability makes it to where whenever Grandpa yells, you are allowed to see the killers instead. Leland's ability is one of the better abilities that I know of. He basically is able to just knock over a killer, and it stuns them for a good amount of time, too. And if I remember right, the higher his strength, the longer his stun lasts, which is really good. I don't know the timing on it, because Maria's thing, pretty quick. You can sweet talk the Grandpa quite frequently as long as you're nearby. Leland's, I don't know how it works, but it's good. Especially if you're being chased by one person. Like, in early game, if you're being chased as Leland, just bash Leatherface and you're pretty much free to get away. And I think it's Connie. Yeah, Connie, focused. Basically, you use up stamina to open doors incredibly fast. Typically, you want to do this if the generator's already off. So, say you're escaping. For this ability, you can hit the generator first, boom, get the door, you're out. And I forgot completely that I can go in and manually see what each of their things do. Oh yeah, I forgot. This is Anna. Her ability is she takes significantly less damage. Not great, not bad. Sunny is... Okay, so basically it looks like it's just the cook's main ability, and Julie has ultimate escape. Okay, so it does a few things, but the primary thing is it looks like it reduces stamina for running for a short time. Which isn't great, but actually, what am I saying? That's really good in certain situations. And then the other characters, I don't know. Danny, I can't see. Virginia, I can't see. And Wyatt, I can't see. I'm assuming since Wyatt's strength is so high, it might be something like Leland's, but I don't know. Anyway, that is the rough guide, and thank you all for watching. Have a good day.